section 3.5 here is a very, very important concept as far as thermoregulation is concerned. And this is really about the time domain. So we mentioned previously an analogy of a sink. So your body is a lot like a sink. It can hold and contain so much heat it can take on. And that's a lot like a sink. It can hold a finite amount of water. So when your body's exercising, it's generating metabolic heat. That's a lot like turning on the faucet and the sink is filling up with water. So you start to build up heat towards your capacity. Now, the drain at the bottom is your ability to cool heat. So you can drain heat out just as fast and the water doesn't rise, then you can keep working as long as you want. What happens though is when you get to a mismatch, when water is going into the sink faster than it can drain out, that's when you start to rise to the point where full sink, you're either overflowing, which is problematic, or you have to reduce the input of heat. You have to slow down the work just so that you can maintain your homeostasis, your status quo. So a really great chart here shows the differences. When you start exercising, metabolic heat production, which you're going to see in orange, it functions a lot like a step function. So the moment you start exercising, there's almost an immediate spike in metabolic heat that's produced. So you see in this in this study that they were at rest for 60 minutes. Then they went up to a 300 watt intensity cycling, and it was just within a couple of minutes, heat production goes all the way up, stays relatively steady state. They bumped on again to 450, couple minutes there. But what they've found is that heat dissipation, so what you see in the blue, the body's ability to dump heat out. So this is the drain, getting rid of the built up latent heat, often takes 45 to 60 minutes to reach a steady state. And even then, it has a very, very hard time matching heat production, especially during exercise and especially in hot conditions. The result is you see the shaded area in between. That's the difference. That is going to be heat storage. So that is the accumulation of heat throughout this exercise protocol. So it's very important to know that your body cannot respond as quickly as you can start generating heat. This is why it's so common to see some degree of hyperthermia in sports or in anything with intense exercise, because heat production always has a head start, and it's very, very hard for heat dissipation to catch up. And so these are the key points that we talked about. Heat production, it's like a step function. Heat loss ramps up gradually, slowly. That discrepancy becomes heat storage, filling up the sink. Eventually, what this is going to lead to is when capacity is reached and heat stress, the heat storage is no longer compensable, you will have fatigue due to neural and muscular impairments. You will have cognitive degradation. You will have hyperthermia, performance decline, and then if it prolongs long enough, risk of heat-related illness or severe consequences.